Hello IOD community and welcome to another DIY tutorial. Today is part 2 of a 4-part series where we are showing you how to use the Oak Leaves and Acorns mold to make some gorgeous decor for your Thanksgiving table. We're going to be showing you today how to create a napkin ring set and a accompanying napkin. We'll just show you one, but of course you'll repeat these steps for as many different place settings as you have. We will start by mixing our resin, which we're going to be using for our castings. You can measure out exactly how much you need by looking at the measure marks on your chosen design. We'll be using the leaves with the acorns. If you want to save some time, you can use different motifs from this to do like 4 castings for a 4-set napkin ring, or you can pour the same casting for exact matching. So up to you if you want this to be a little bit more eclectic. It would take a little bit more time if you're doing the same casting, but that's up to you. You can work in batches or you can work one by one. Important thing on this project is that you are going to wait until your resin is just cured. So you want it still moldable so it will bend around your wooden napkin rings. You don't want to let this dry completely because you do want it to be malleable. So go ahead and pop those out when they're opaque, still a little bit warm, and bendable. We'll use our Titebond Quick and Thick to put on the back of our mold, or our resin casting, I should say. And then we're going to go ahead and place that on our wooden napkin ring. Of course, as usual, all of the items used for today's tutorial are in the description or accompanying blog post. If you need any IOD products, make sure you head on over to ironorchiddesigns.com and click the red Where to Buy button in the top right corner to get in touch with your local stockist. Once your casting is set, we're going to go ahead and start painting. We're going to be using our gold leaf paint, which we call our stinky paint because it does stink, but it creates such a beautiful metallic finish. So go ahead and use a small brush and put that all over your casting, get it all in the nooks and crannies. You want to cover all of the casting and all of the wood. And a pro tip is that this is actually hard to get out of brushes, but don't fret. Use a mineral oil and you'll be able to get that out and reuse your brushes for many days to come. We don't want to be throwing those out just because you can't get them clean. So that's the tip and trick you need. Set that aside to dry. And we're going to be bringing in a second layer of paint. We're going to be using a soft brown paint. We're using chalk type paint. If you have any questions on what type of paint is best for you, get in touch with your stockist. Otherwise, you can use what you have on hand. Now, the important part about using the gold leaf below is that we're actually going to be wiping this brown paint back with a shop towel or lint-free towel. So that gold leaf is oil-based, and when we wipe that chalk type paint back, it's going to reveal those beautiful metallics with a nice warm accent of the brown. So just go ahead and wipe that back, and that is it for the painting. The next step is to seal these. We are going to use a satin sealer. Again, if you have questions about what type of sealer is best, ask in the Creative Tribe, ask your stockist, but do go ahead and get a good sealing coat on all of your beautiful work and repeat this process for each of your napkin rings for each of your settings. In the next step, we are going to be showing you how to create some beautiful napkins to accompany your napkin rings. This is optional, but it really does elevate the look. We're going to use some torn edge napkin fabric that is really pretty. We like the torn edge, just adds a little something something. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab your IOD La Campagne stamp. I probably mispronounced that. We do that a lot around here. We'll have the link for the product in the description below. So if you didn't understand my pronunciation, it's all good. We've got you. So go ahead and get that all ready while Olivia finishes up the napkin ring here and in that satin sealer. And then we're going to show you this next really easy stamping. Nothing complicated here. So here's that beautiful torn edge napkin. We're going to use our IOD Stone Gray ink. We're going to juice up our stamp pad. Make sure that's all ready to go. And we're going to use the beautiful florals. You could pull this off your sheet if you want, but you can leave it on the backing just as easily. Just stamp up the elements that you want. Make sure you don't stamp any of the other stamps or you could get some smudging. And then you're going to stamp a pattern on your napkin. Feel free to use other stamps. We have lots of other beautiful options. You can look at all of those on our IOD catalog or check with your stockist to see what they have available. There's really no limit to your creativity here. So just because we use something doesn't mean that you can't create something custom and unique to your style. So use that creative freedom and stamp down all of your different elements there. The thing we love about using florals for these napkins is these are not limited to the Thanksgiving season. They're going to look beautiful with the arrangements that we've created, but you can reuse these for Easter, for summer. So again, we don't want to just have things in storage all year round. We like things that are multi-season use. So keep that in mind when you're choosing which design, so you can use these and enjoy them all year round. Of course, when you're stamping, we always want to give you the advice that once you have committed to where you're going to stamp, push that down and do not shift. When you shift, that's where the problems come in. If you feel like your pattern's a little off, you can always add in a little other element, and there's little fixes you can do. So it's better to just commit, and you can make adjustments if you need. Now, a word about IOD ink. This is actually, when you're doing this, you are dyeing the fabric. So you're going to want to let this sit for at least 24 hours. And then you're going to come back in with an iron and you're going to heat set this ink. That's going to ensure longevity on your fabric if you go to wash these. And definitely do visit our IOD Stamping 101 if you have questions about how to prep and what type of fabric you should use for napkins. You are going to want to wash these prior to ensure that you're going to have good longevity on these. For our smaller stamps that we're adding to the pattern, you can see that Olivia did decide to use the thin mount. That's because they're a little bit harder to get in and stamp with the stamp pad without getting it on the other elements, which would lead to smudging, which we don't want. So if you're using the smaller elements, go ahead and pull those off the stamp backing, put them on your thin mount and push those down. You can clean them off with a baby wipe and then place them back on the backing for easy storage. If you haven't heard of our IOD envelopes, you definitely want to check that out. They're really popular. So after you've taken your stamps out of the packaging, you can leave them on that backing sheet and you can slide them into these envelopes. Or some people like to cut the stamps up and have them separate, and you can just put them in the envelope for easy storage. So this is a great way to stay organized. Organizing your craft room is key to your sanity. So make it simple on yourself and get some IOD storage envelopes. Repeat these steps for all of your napkins, and if you want some for other seasons, you can create those right now. Batching is a great way to handle your crafting. And then you're gonna, again, follow all of the instructions for making sure you get good wear out of your napkins by heat setting after you've let this set for 24 hours. And then the very last step, not stamp, you can tell I have stamps on the mind, right? Is that you are going to actually grab that IOD napkin ring, which is all dry. You're going to fold up your napkin, you're going to slide it through, and then you'll be all ready to set these on your chargers. And aren't these gorgeous? Your friends are going to be impressed, and you are going to have a beautiful Thanksgiving table. Make sure you join us for parts 3 and 4, where we go through and show you how to create a beautiful IOD pumpkin centerpiece using the IOD Oak Leaves and Acorn mold. We'll see you in the next one.